Mm. So, hello, my name is Crystal, and welcome to the Lunar Chakra Podcast. So, if you're new here, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. So, I am Crystal, and I have been an intuitive reader and energy communicator is probably the best term for it for over 30 years. So, that does include things like psychic medium and things like that. But one of the things that I've been working with, besides just doing readings over these years, is I have been doing energy attunements and energy coaching, especially working with empowering empaths. So, one of the things that I wanted to cover in this, and one of the main things I've been doing so far in this episode, not just this episode, sorry, this podcast. This podcast series is my heart is really in it to help others be able to not just protect yourself and kind of block the world out. I want you to learn how to really understand what your gifts are and what they do, and how to empower you to use those gifts in the way that they were intended to help enhance your life, not make it smaller. I want to be able to have people to be able to expand their world. So in this episode, I've covered other things so far, but this is probably one of the most important ones, is about how do you embrace your gifts without feeling overwhelmed. So let's talk a little bit first about, well, what is it about being an empath? What are these traits? What are the things that we are all facing with this? Well, we can easily feel overwhelmed being in different spaces. Like even going to the grocery store sometimes can be a little, all of those things. So first of all, don't feel bad about that. A lot of people are doing that. I know over the years, you may have heard, you're too sensitive, you're too emotional, you're too this, you're too that. I want you to understand you're not too any of those things. You have empathic gifts. They're just in a heightened state for a good reason. It's a level or a volume of where your gifts are. So for others out there, yes, it doesn't excuse bad behavior. Please understand, I'm not saying that at all. But I want you to understand that for those who don't have their gifts in the volume or the level that you do, it is hard to grasp or understand how we see the world. We don't just walk into the room. We feel emotions and energy before we even walk into that space. So those are part of the gifts, yes. And you can feel things like maybe you have very vivid dreams. Maybe you have the kind of abilities that you can feel as somebody's talking to you. You can feel the energy of what they're saying. You can feel if they're being honest with you or not, or if they're holding things back. So that can be pretty overwhelming. But what I want you to first understand is, as an empath, when you start feeling a heightened anxiety or heightened hesitation, or any of the feelings that don't feel good, if it doesn't feel relaxing, it doesn't feel positive, or at least neutral, I want you to understand what happens for an empath. Our main power base is our heart space. We are heart-centered, and our heart space, or our heart chakra, this is the seat of our soul. This is where we communicate with angels and guides. This is where we love from. This is where we feel from. But this is also our inner GPS, our inner North Star. This is where we get our clarity, and our intuition is based here. Now, another thing also incredibly important is this is also where our inner child lives. So those times over the years when someone told us we were too serious, too emotional, too sensitive, all of those things, that your inner child still is carrying the weight of some of those things. So as we go through this process, I'm also going to help teach you ways to help connect more with your heart space, which is also connecting more with your inner child, to help ease them through this journey into, like I said, I guess also discovering your gifts, because there's probably a lot of things about you you don't realize that make you special in a beautiful way. Okay, so let's first talk, like I said, what are some of the things that can happen? You can feel overwhelmed going into spaces. Maybe a lot of times you'd rather just kind of hermit, stay home, or only, maybe go out in nature. Probably being out in nature feels very soothing for you, as opposed to like going to a store or being around where there's a lot of people. Because when we are in nature, we are so incredibly in tune with everything, and everything in nature has its own essence, so to speak. What we may call a soul, or being a sentient being, it has a presence. Everything from the flowers to the trees to all the beautiful elemental energies that call nature their home. We feel all of that. And in that space, none of that feels anything but love and acceptance. And so that is why when you go take a walk in nature or you spend time with your pet and you connect with them, that is why that is very soothing and makes you feel much calmer. It brings us out of here. So when we start getting anxious and all of that, our energy center, instead of being here, rises up, and it is up in our brain, so to speak, our human brain. Okay. And so the thing with that is when we're up there, that's when the overwhelm can feel. That's when where we can get out away from here, knowing who we really are. Remember, this is the seat of our soul, up into, that's where our ego is. That's where all those voices of things that we've heard in the past are echoing around and all of that. So when those things start happening, one of the things I say, and this is probably one of the easiest exercises to do, you can do it anywhere, even in public, and people won't know what you're doing, it's okay, is when you start feeling that anxiety start to raise, maybe you feel that little, tingle, zingle, little apprehension, even if it's a thought of going out to like the grocery store, take one moment, put a hand right over your heart space. Now, when I do this immediately, because I have my hand right over my sternum, I can feel the vibration of my words as I'm speaking. So my words are vibrating not out just for you to hear it, they're vibrating through my heart space. So when we do this, we are instantly connecting with our heart, which is the seat of our soul, and our inner child and our inner GPS. This is where we know who we really are in the universe, is seated right here. So when we connect with this and we speak through this, we are speaking directly to our heart and soul and to our higher self. So when we do this, and we are also, remember, comforting our inner child, even just putting a hand here, right? Take a deep breath in, as if you're breathing up in that beautiful energy from source, from nature, that love energy. We breathe it in and we breathe out. All of that anxiety and all of that heightened emotions, it's like blowing off the excess, like blowing out steam, so to speak, when we do that. So just doing that simple gesture will immediately get you back to heart center, which is, this is your home base, heart space, right? Get you back out of your head, back down here, and get you back to who you really are. This immediately will start helping you lower your anxiety and start lowering the volume of those like little warning signals that go off that can feel very overwhelming. So that's one thing to do. The next thing, so we'll talk about, now let's talk about, and I have little notes here because I can go way off subject. So, and now you can definitely tell this isn't scripted because I want to make sure I hit all the points, because besides having all these incredible sensitivities that I have, I also have ADHD, so I do get a little distracted. So I just want you to know I am going to read from my notes, but I want to make sure I cover all these because I feel these are really important. So now that we understand a little bit of how the uncomfortable can feel, how you can feel overwhelmed, even also, and I forgot to mention this, I will tell you, it's not your imagination if you feel, especially there's certain people or situations or places that you visit that you feel drained, maybe even while you're there. And afterwards you like, oh, you just feel like you need a nap, or you almost feel emotionally sunburned on top of that. Okay. Because part of that is, we're going to talk a little bit about that. That can be one of those things that can be overwhelming because, so we'll talk a little bit about common traits, and then maybe as we go through, we'll understand a little more about why you are feeling the things that you're feeling or sensing, and then what we can do to ease that and help embrace the gifts part. Remember, get back to our heart space and be able to use these beautiful gifts in the way they were intended, in a way to enrich our life. Okay, so I read a little about it, like, what are some of the things that are, what is it to be an empath? What are the things about our empathic abilities that are kicking into gear, right? So it basically, empaths are naturally sensitive individuals who deeply feel the emotions and energies around them. Unlike those who simply show empathy, empaths actually absorb the feelings of others, often without realizing it. While it can be a powerful gift, allowing you to connect with people on a profound level, it can also lead to emotional exhaustion if not managed properly. Okay? So you're not imagining things and you're not overly sensitive. Understand, every human that's born on this earth has the ability, has empathic abilities. We are all wired to have this, but many of us come into this world already with a lot of those volumes way up. Sometimes people will go through many parts of their life without any of their real empathic abilities really getting the volume cranked up. But sometimes things will happen in our lives. Sometimes it could be something like going through puberty when we're younger. It could also be, as you mature, things like having children. Anything that does like a chemical reset will actually do an energetic reset. Different things. Sometimes we can go through events in our life that could be very traumatic. Maybe a loved one passes. We go through something where maybe we've had an accident or some type of injury. That can take the volume where it already was and really crank it up. So empathic abilities is something that we are all wired to have. But empaths, the highly sensitive, the ones that are active, I should say, us, the sensitive ones, right? Our abilities already have the volumes turned up. But the interesting thing is it's not a light switch. It's not one simple switch, but that's the beauty of it. It is a beautiful, complex, like dashboard full of so many different gauges. And once we learn together, as I walk you through this, how to utilize every one of those different dials and gauges to have it at the right setting that is perfect for you. Probably the best way to explain it is if you have, glasses, or if you've ever had an eye exam, right? They will sit you down and they will have that chart in front of you, which everybody sees the same chart, right? And they will go, does this look more clear or this? Does this look more clear or this? Well, understand, empathic abilities are the same thing. We're all wired with the same abilities, but the right adjustments to each one of those is what fits very individually to the person. And that's what I'm going to help you learn about today. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what are the gifts. So we say gifts, and that should sound like it's an actual present, right? Well, let's talk about what these gifts really are. Okay. So some of the common abilities of ones are to be deeply emotionally sensitive and heightened intuition, okay? A strong sense of connection with nature and animals. Remember I was talking about? So, but and like I said, now these are some of the things that those things can be, where it can be a challenge, okay? It's not a block, it's a challenge, okay? It says feeling overwhelmed in crowded places, right? Struggling with setting boundaries in relationships. We're going to talk a little bit about that because that's really important. And also the natural ability to comfort and support others. That's part of the gift part of this, my dear. Okay, so when we start recognizing these traits within us, the first step really is to embrace this, your gifts, in the way that feels empowering and not exhausting for you. Okay, because remember, this is very individual. So me and you, we are empaths. We have our sensitivities kicked into gear, but the gauges on my system are adjusted for what works for me. And I'm going to teach you how to do the same thing for yourself. Okay, so, oh, and I probably should keep my notes here because here I go wandering off. Let's talk a little bit more about what are some of the things that your gifts can do in your everyday life to help enhance it. Remember, I said this is all about empowering, not protecting or blocking, right? So it says, so it says, I wrote this out and I even forgot how I wrote this. So I'm just going to read it first and then we'll talk about it, okay? It says, so how to embrace your empathic gifts in everyday life, right? So the first one is energy awareness. So what is that, right? What is that really? It says, start becoming aware of when you're absorbing emotions that aren't yours. Pay attention to sudden mood shifts and ask yourself, is this feeling mine? If not, visualize releasing the emotion like a balloon floating away. So let's talk about that one because that's incredibly important. Because as an empath, we don't even have to get out of bed, right? We wake up in the morning, and even if there's not people who are living in our house or physically in our house or animals, we're picking up immediately from the time we open our eyes up. We are taking in a lot of information. And inside of us, the reaction will kick through as emotions. So sometimes we start to wake up and we're like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I just woke up after sleeping like 8 hours. Why am I so tired? So part of this could be maybe the day before you spent time with a friend that's going through a lot of things, and you were so emotionally empathic of what was going on as you were helping comfort them, not realizing at the time you were taking on the weight of their emotions, and you were giving of yourself, but from a place that's not replenishing. We're going to talk about that too, because that's really important. And so, our nature is to want to love and to comfort others. But when we do this, we don't realize, if we're not understanding how that flow of that works, we're giving and giving of ourselves from our energy, but we're not replenishing, or we're doing it to the point where when we take on their emotions also and carry the weight of them over our heart space, that could be some of the things that are exhausting. So like this too. Like I said, so say you wake up and you're moving around your house. Maybe you're like me and you're old. I'm older now. I don't have children or anything in the house. It's just me right now. But I can wake up and feel so many different emotions first thing in the morning. And I'm not really awake yet. So even for me, it takes me a few moments to be like, okay, is this actually coming from me? Now, what does that really mean? Yes, you can pick up, even as you start waking up, you can start picking up emotions and energy from just the collective energy. I don't want you to panic. It's okay. These are just the things you've been experiencing, but we're going to talk about some super easy things to do. So by the time this podcast is open, you will have many ways to help start attuning and adjusting and kind of keeping what I call energetic hygiene, which is going to help that your energy clean and clear, keeping you getting back to center here and being empowered. Okay, so don't feel overwhelmed as we talk about this. I promise by the end of this, you will have tips and tricks and tools that will take you just a moment at a time to help you kind of reset and refocus is probably the best thing to say. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through this. So the next thing is setting healthy boundaries. I talked about this. So definitely with this one. Oh, and I probably forgot for the other one. For the first one, when I'm talking about when you start feeling those overwhelming feelings, right? The first thing I want you to do is, remember I said this is a great way to connect, because your mind is also following what your hand is doing. So when you put your hand over your heart, you are connecting with heart space. So when you start feeling, even if you start waking up or it's throughout the day and all of a sudden you start feeling sad or frustrated or something that is not your normal nature, put one hand over your heart. Just take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and out loud or in your mind, just say, is what I'm feeling, is that mine? Is this from me, or am I just picking up something else? Well, the good news is 9 times out of 10, it's not your emotion, my dear. So you have absorbed emotion, you've picked it up or sensed it from somewhere that kind of came in, and you're kind of like the filter system that comes through. So when that comes through, it wasn't coming towards you to kind of weigh you down, because part of the things that people don't talk about is, as empaths, part of our gift is our ability to transmute energy. Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So transmuting energy. So when you are picking up other people's emotions, feelings, any of that energy that you're picking up that is not or originating from you, it's because we are meant to take these things in, take that energy and transmute it. So in the action of putting your hand over your heart, right, connecting with heart space, take a deep breath in. You're taking in all of that energy you're picking up, and now we're releasing it. The same exercise we were doing earlier, but it's incredibly powerful, because what we don't realize, we don't get an instruction book when we're born into this life with these gifts, right? So what this is process of what I'm teaching you is, we are taking in, like we naturally want to do, our gifts are to take in whatever those emotions and energies are that you're picking up. You're taking it in, you're filtering it through your heart space, and now we're transmuting that in that process and releasing it. When we do that, we're doing what we were designed to do, and guess what? We are now embracing our gifts in a way that's enhancing our life, because now when I go to start my day, I'm not going to be feeling the weight of those things, because that's not mine. I just didn't realize it was part of the thing that I'm designed to do. So we're kind of like we are the most advanced filtration system for negativity that's on the planet. And it's interesting that, of course, this is one of those things which is funny. A lot of people just don't talk about when they talk about what to do to help empaths. So to let you know, yes, this is an amazing ability. This is part of what our gift really is to the world. So that's another thing. You may not feel called down the road to do something like what I do, where I do sessions where I'm helping people like this, or doing readings or energy attunements, or helping empaths like you. You just may be that your gift to the world is to do and be the things that light you up. Maybe that's a librarian, maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's, I don't know, someone that has a little shop somewhere that sells gifts, or maybe you make knitting that you give away to charity. Whatever it is that lights you up in your world, that is your light work. What lights your heart up is your signal. That's your green light. That's the direction for you to go. So I want you to understand, by embracing your gifts and enhancing your life and embracing it in a way that makes things more joyful for you, just you existing, transmuting energy just to the collective or for those in your life, my dear, that is helping raise the vibration of the planet, and that is how you make things better. You don't have to do it in a big scale. It could be something as little as that, but every little bit of those, every time I am able to speak to an empath just like you that has their gifts, in full on mode, when I can help you understand what it is to be you and what is going on and what you can do to embrace it, I make a difference in the world. So thank you for the opportunity to do that. So let's go ahead and finish this, right? Okay. So the next thing is setting healthy boundaries. It says empaths often struggle with saying no, right? Ooh, that's a big one. Ooh, I can put my hand up for that one. I still struggle with that, so don't feel bad. It's okay. Don't worry. I've got stuff to help you with that, right? Okay, but boundaries are essential for self-care. So I know you hear the term all the time, self-care, be kind to yourself. Healthy boundaries are one of the most healthy and loving things you can do for yourself. Believe it or not, we're going to talk about that too. And learning to prioritize your well-being, okay? Now, what are some of the things you can do for that? Limiting time with energy draining individuals. Now, understand, I probably need a little more water. Sorry, my mouth gets dry when I do all this chatting, but I'm excited. I really want to share this. So let's talk about limiting time with energy draining individuals. So I know that may be hard to hear because our nature, our heart space just wants to love, to help, to make things better. That's how we're wired. So understand, yes, there are people in your life that maybe even before you go to spend time with them, even though you really care about them and you love them and you want to help, you can already start feeling like, oh, I'm going to need a nap after. So first things first, understand, be kind to yourself. Your desire to want to help others is a big part of you, but putting down these healthy boundaries is going to help you be able to be a better help to others by taking care of yourself at the same time. So saying by limiting time with this person, it could be that, yes, maybe this is somebody, you have a situation that they're constantly texting you and calling you and all of these things. So by setting down a healthy boundary, maybe you can tell them, say, look, I want to make sure that I give you my full attention. So how about and then suggest something that is reasonable and healthy for both of you. You can say, how about I have Saturday mornings a little free. So how about every Saturday morning we set a time that we can either talk on the phone, because that can be easier for you, or we can go out to coffee or something. So you give it parameters, but you're also doing it in a kind, loving way, because you're letting them know that you want to be able to give them your time and attention fully, but you're also putting your healthy boundaries down. So see, being able, it's not just about saying no, it's just about taking a situation that may be potentially very draining for you to be able to limit it, that you're still giving your love and attention, and you can give it at the best level because you're limiting what you're doing and you're putting yourself in a much better place by being with the healthy boundaries part of it, okay? So next thing is avoiding, I have to count myself on this too. Avoiding overcommitting to things that leave you exhausted. I know, I can hold my hand up for this too, so don't feel bad. I still kind of struggle with this. I get better at it, and then sometimes I'm like, ooh, no, I gotta adjust again, so don't feel bad. So look at it this way. It's not about a perfect straight line from here to there. It's like driving in a car. If you're driving, you're constantly doing this, right? You're readjusting, you're gonna have to turn and all this. That's what this is all about, so don't feel bad about that. We all have to readjust or put a turn signal on or pull over, and some of us just need to get off the road for periods of time, right? Okay, so let's talk about this. So, avoiding overcommitting. So, when something like, if you have this, and we probably, so many of us do, understand, first of all, put your hand over your heart and say it's okay right now, because forgive yourself. It's okay, because remember, we are wired to want to love and to help and make things better, right? We're wired like that, but we don't have a threshold limit, so we have to put that down. That's a healthy boundary that we have to do, because there's free will, and it's a good thing that we have that. So when something, if you have this, one of the things you can do is, we're going to teach this at the end, I promise you. There's going to be an exercise I'm going to show you how to do. It's going to take you less than a minute in the morning, less than a minute at night. It's going to help you. And when you do that exercise, one of the things that you are doing when you do that is you're empowering yourself to be in a better place to say yes, and to say yes in a way that you feel empowered. You have to learn how to use your no or your not now, or to put the healthy boundary down, because you devalue your yes if that's the only answer you ever give. So don't feel bad about that, because that's a natural instinct to want to do that. But remember, healthy boundaries mean that we need to do that. And remember, if all you're saying is yes, you are basically discounting or downgrading the value of your yes if you don't use your no, or not right now, or no thank you, okay? So the next one is giving yourself permission to take space when needed. Now, what does that mean? That means if you need your own timeout because you feel overwhelmed, maybe you just need to go outside for a few minutes and go for a little walk, take a breather, give yourself permission to take the breaks and the breathers that you need. That is a healthy boundary. That is also self-care and self-love, my dear. Okay? So the next thing up is managing emotional overload. Oh goodness, right? Yes, we're going to learn how to do that too. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, incorporate practices that help you reset. So take breaks. Allow yourself time to recharge. Now, some of it could hit you when you're at work, right? And you're like, okay, well, I've got an hour till lunch. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Well, if you can't physically take yourself out of the space, there's a couple of things that you can do to take that breather space, help you reset and get connected back here. So even while you're working, say you have a job where you work at a computer, right? And you're gonna have to sit there for the next couple hours, and you're like, I can't physically get up and go take a break outside. I can't go for a walk. It's not lunch break. What do I do? Well, one of the things that I do, especially if I have to sit there and work on a computer for a while, I get one earbud in. I listen to things that don't have, it's music, but doesn't have lyrics. And there's a reason why. Because if it's a song that has lyrics, it will take your mind and focus off to follow the lyrics and kind of sing along even in your mind, right? Which will distract you from your work. So how do I relax myself? How do I recenter and not lose my focus? So the best way to do it is I put one earbud in and I listen to something that has no lyrics. So you can listen to just instrumental music. You can listen to the sounds of nature. And just as a talking point, in my profile in here, there is a playlist called Digital Zen. So if you're looking for some inspiration and things to try, in there is a whole group, and I'm adding stuff all the time. There is things in there, everything from the sound of the ocean rolling in on the shore in the Maldives island, and there's a video for that, so you can watch it too on your break if you want to. But for this, we're just listening, right? So That's one of the ones on there. There's things like the birds. There is a recording, I think it's literally 8 hours long, of the birds and nature sounds in the English forest. There's one in the jungles at the Yucatan, down near where the Mayan ruins are. So it's a beautiful energy space. I get chills just thinking about it. And there's so many different soundtracks on there. There are some by these amazing artists, and I think let me see, hopefully I get this right. There is a beautiful singer, but her singing is all chanting, so it is all mantras that she is singing. Her name is it's Chandras Siba, and her videos are in my links. There is also an amazing artist that does those beautiful domed hand panning drums. Beautiful. I think his name is Malta. He's also in there. Amazing work. So all of these things that are in there, that is something you can kind of put one earbud in and listen to that. And that is something that will be soothing and relaxing. They're connection with nature and beautiful energy. There's even a song in there where they took this gorgeous instrumental music and wove through it the song of whales and dolphins communicating with each other. I know, really cool stuff, right? So even while you're stuck at a computer working and you can't get up and take a break, there is ways that you can reset when you're feeling anxiety and overwhelmed. One hand over the heart, the breath in, the breath out, put a little earbud in and listen to something that helps enlighten you, raise your vibration and release. Remember, with those breath out, you're releasing all of those emotions. Because especially if you're at work and you're around a bunch of people, there's a good chance you're picking up stuff from everybody. And so to make your day a little easier, let's go ahead and clear that out, okay? So next one is, so yes, it says take breaks, remember, allowing yourself to recharge. And it says limit exposure to negativity. Oh, you're like, oh yeah, right. In this day and age, are you kidding? So reduce time spent on distressing news or social media. So let's talk about that. Maybe better what it is. It's not about avoiding, because there's so many things. Even right now, you're using social media to help yourself learn how to embrace your gifts. So there are ways to use social media to be able to enhance your life as a tool that it's really intended to be. So things like this is, maybe instead of watching regular programmed television where you're going to get commercials, you may get all kinds of, highlights from different reality TV, something that's all drama based, the news of everything that's going on, which is very stressful for everybody. And you would be picking up all of that you would be emotionally sunburned by the end of it. Or, and one of the things I am fault to is we will get so tuned in and tune out at the same time. We could sit there and scroll forever, on TikTok or in YouTube shorts. It's okay. Don't feel bad. I'm not calling you out. I caught myself doing that too many times myself, so don't feel bad. But understand there are things that you can do to use these tools in ways to embrace it. So like I said, you can use YouTube for like that playlist that I have. There's many different things you can listen to on there. There are other different outlets and places to find inspiring things. There are so many things, yes, through YouTube that you can find. There is also, and I think they have a presence pretty much on YouTube too. It's called Gaia.com or Gaia TV. They have tons of programming, different documentaries, different speakers, many things talking about things about gifts and things about the metaphysical world, the universe, so many beautiful things. There are ways for you to put things into your space energetically that as you consume them, they're soul food. Maybe there's something that's a hobby or a craft that you love. Like me, I love vintage and antique textiles and clothing and stuff. So I can sit there and watch like a 2-hour video of them going through the textile archives at the Victoria and Albert Museum. Oh, forget it. I could probably watch it a couple of times in a row, but that lights me up. So that's a way for me to use social media to inspire myself. There's many creators like myself and so many others that are on different things like TikTok. But understand too, you can also tailor it so you only go in and see the people that you follow. Maybe you have an account now you've had it for a long time and it's sending a lot of stuff because you've liked and followed tons of people. Well, I have a suggestion. Make a separate TikTok account, especially I think we can download it again. Make a separate TikTok account or a separate social media like Instagram or any of those, but make one that's your separate one that is your downtime one, which means the only people that you like or follow are ones that have inspiring content for you. Okay? Because as you start using those and you start watching their videos and commenting and liking and keeping it very curated, then it will start feeding you stuff in the algorithm that boosts and supports that focus. That way, if there's a creator that you just feel so inspired listening to, you can go find them and then you can tailor that. So that's like your downtime. That's the one you know that's been curated. That's your like healthy soul food diet, so to speak. So that's a way to use social media to be able to not have the other stuff coming in there that can be so negative and all of those things, to give yourself a little energy break, so to speak, right? Okay. So the next one is, now some of these this time of year, I feel even silly talking about this, but it is something you can eventually do, or if you're in an area that you can do this right now, because this video is timeless, but grounding like using grounding techniques is one of the things they talk about. Oh, sorry, the last one. See, I told you, ADHD. So the last one for managing the emotional overload is surround yourself with positivity. So like I said, having a curated social media account that you use just for those things, that's a good thing to do. Okay. The next one is seeking uplifting conversations. Now, that could be that there's somebody that you really connect with that's a good friend. Maybe it's just you just need a text, or maybe you guys have been so busy and it's really hard to be in the same place at the same time. Guess what? There is a lot of ways that you can even use social media to do that. You can also do FaceTime with them. You can have this little Zoom get together. Sometimes me and my friends, that's the only way that all of us can get together, especially because so many of us are now not living in the same area. So we get together every so often and just have like a Zoom meeting with us girls and laugh together. So that's an idea too. Okay. So, and uplifting our conversations, the music. Remember what I talked about? Having different curated playlists. Start your own playlist on YouTube, finding things that you really like and click, and then you can just go through your whole playlist. So that's a good idea. And environments. And so environments that are also like you, where you are in your living space. There is, to just let you know, up in my profile, there should be a link. There was a upload that I did that is the Empath's Guide to Cleaning and Clearing Your Living Space. So it gives you many different tips to take things that you already do in the space that you live in, where you sleep and all that, to help reset that energy and clear it and fill it with positive energy in a way, and more of like, it's almost like remembering to water your plants. Well, you need to remember to kind of water the positivity in your living space and clear out, negative, stale, old energy. Remember, and plus we're picking up energy of other people, even if we haven't got a chance to clear it. So that's a good thing to do. So there is, and it's free to download. It'll be up in my main website. There's a link probably down in the bottom. Like I said, it's called the Empath's Guide to Cleaning and Clearing Your Space. I think that's the title, but in short, it'll be down in the description down below. When you click on that, you can download it. It's a free thing for you to use. Okay, so let's talk about tools and practices to stay balanced, because that's our goal. Remember I said, because we stay balanced, we get to be in, our life is enhanced, not held back from our gifts when we do that. So to fully embrace your gifts without burnout, right? No more burnt toast, right? Okay, incorporate these supportive practices into your daily life. It says grounding techniques. Now, some of the ones that they give you for grounding techniques are not feasible year round. I think I was talking a little bit about that. Yes, right now where I'm at, it's probably about 35, maybe 40 degrees outside. So telling somebody to go outside with your bare feet and put your feet in the grass, it wouldn't be the best thing to do. We'd end up looking like Smurfs. We'd just be blue. So I'm not going to, I'm telling you, you can do this if it will work for you where you live, but there are ways to do that without having to go outside. So we're going to talk about that, because they talk about walking barefoot on grass, which is called earthing. You may have heard of that, grounding your energy, all of those different things. So what is a way for you to do if it's the middle of winter, or maybe you live in a place that you just don't have a lot of green grass? Maybe you live in a city somewhere where it's kind of like a lot of concrete and not a lot of green space, and any green space has probably been the tinkle pad for many dogs, right? Okay, so what do you do? So one of the things that I do, which helps, yes, you can go ahead and do the full bodied one where fill up a bathtub. You can put some Himalayan pink sea salt, different things like that in, our little Epsom salt, little bath salts into the bath, and you can soak. That is a way to ground energy. Salt is one of the most underrated crystals. And it's interesting because I even have them in big chunks. You may have seen them as lamps and things like that people get, but you can have it in pieces like this and charge it just like a crystal, or you can have it in Dun, dun, in little forms like this. Like you can buy this in the bulk section at the grocery store. This is just Himalayan pink salt. So yes, you can put that in a bath. Yes, but does everybody have the time or the ability to do that? Maybe you live in an apartment that you don't have a big tub to soak it. That's okay. All you need to do is get a basin. I figure about one about this deep, and you can get those. Usually they're sold as like little mini portable sink washing basins or like a little foot soaking basin. It just needs to be a little basin, right? That will hold warm water in it. And you just fill it up with just enough warm water in it that when you would put your feet in, it would rise above your ankles. Then in there, you can put the Himalayan pink salt in. You can also do other things to enhance it. You can put a little essential oils, maybe the scent of, lemons or roses, any of those scents that smell good and feel good and it would make you feel better just smelling it. Put a little of that in. So all you would have to do is put your feet down in that warm water, close your eyes, and maybe even better, put your earbuds in and listen to one of those amazing things. Maybe the one with the ocean rolling into the shore. Sitting there with your feet in that beautiful warm salt water. That is a way for you to ground out all that negativity, reset your energy, and it takes 10-15 minutes, and it's fabulous. You'll feel so much better. So that's a good way to do that any time of the year. So if it's really cold out or you don't live somewhere where you can go be out in the green grass, that's something for you to do. Okay, so the next one is deep breathing exercises, right? So breath work will be one of the subjects I'm going to talk about in one of my episodes. But for now, you can go ahead and do a little search on YouTube. Look up breath work techniques. There's many different types for you to use. But you can do the super simple one that I've already shown you where you put one hand over the heart. Remember that? You can do two even if you would like. 2 hands over the heart. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And remember when we do that, we're breathing in anything that we need to transmute up through our heart space, right? Transmuting it as it goes through, transforming that into positive, and then releasing it. That's a deep breathing technique. You don't have to do anything fancy. Yes, there's ones that are more involved, but that's a quick, easy one that you can do anytime. Even if someone is working your last nerve or you feel overwhelmed and your anxiety's through the roof, hand over the heart, breath in, breath out, ready to go, right? I like tools that can go on the go with you, right? Okay, you should travel light, right? Okay, so the next one is journaling to process emotions. Okay. Journaling is an amazing technique to help you do these things, but journaling can be very frustrating for those who just can't do it, right? It's just not nature or natural to many of us. So what do? I tell people if you've tried to sit down and just write things out to get your emotions out, that doesn't feel right, or maybe you start it with the best intentions and after 3 days you stop doing it, that's okay. I've got a different idea for you. So try something. I probably should have prepped one ahead of time, but I will tell you, you can do something called sketch journaling. So what is that? Get yourself a little sketch pad. This is just a basic sketch pad, blank pages, right? Just blank pages. So with your blank page, and I say take one blank page a day. You can have one half this size. It doesn't have to be this big. If that's too much to deal with, that's okay. I want you to be able to have something that feels good and that you're excited to use, and it is a tool you'll keep going back to, right? So in this, the best thing to do is find stuff that lights you up. Maybe you love to draw. Maybe you like working with colored pencils or colored markers or colored, my goodness, those gel pens. Oh my God, I used to love those. And stickers, right? These all sound amazing things. They're not expensive either. If you don't have any of these tools around your house, you can even go to your local discount store or dollar store, and for $10, you can load yourself up with stickers and all kinds of stuff. So the goal is take this blank page. Now, maybe there's some kind of emotion that you want to work through. You can just totally put stickers and draw, and maybe you can write words in the art. Maybe you put one word. Maybe it's whatever it is that you want to work on. And take that page and just go crazy. Have fun with it. Nobody's going to be grading you on this. But with a sketch journal, it's a way for you to take all of these emotions and things that are working through here and have a very healthy way and a happy, exciting way to do it. Because like I said, not many people have the groove down where they can just journal manually writing. So many people that doesn't work for. So let's find a way that works for you, because this is a beautiful option for you to use every day. Like I said, you can get a book this big, you can get one half this big, little ones, whatever makes you happy, what feels good for you, and what you will keep using is the important part about it, okay? So sketch journaling is a great thing for that. Okay, so let's talk about the next phase. So the next one is, how do you protect the well-being of your energy? Now, that's not about keeping all the bad stuff out. That's, what do you do to stay healthy? What is your healthy energetic hygiene routine? Let's talk about this. So one of the things is, first off, is understand. It says, first of all, understand not every emotion that you feel or pick up needs to be absorbed. Now remember, it's interesting because I look at that writing, how that's worded, and let me explain a little different, because I know we talked about this. So we are wired to be able to take in energy in, transmute it, and release it, right? But understand, just because we're wired that way doesn't mean we have to do that. Doesn't mean we have to do it all the time either. We're not open 24 hours a day. We're not like one of those little mini marts that, gas station ones that are open 24 hours. We get to put healthy boundaries down, and we get to put time limits on things. So remember, sometimes there are times where you're just like, my doors are closed. That's okay. You're allowed to put the healthy boundary up and kind of block that out and shield from it. So it's okay. I want to let you know you have permission to do that. Actually, I encourage you to learn how to say no. Don't have to always be open for that. Okay. After a long day, clear any lingering emotional weight by. Oh, no, sorry. I jumped down. See, I told you, ADHD. Sorry. So first of all, not every emotion has to be absorbed. Protect your energy. So how do you help put those healthy boundaries down for your energy? It says creating personal space when needed. Remember what I said. You may be at work and you can't just get up from your desk and you're like, personal space. That's okay. You can use things like the music. You can also use things where the breathing techniques. There are ways that your personal space doesn't have to physically mean you. If you're not able to take yourself out of a situation, like you can't just get up from your desk in the middle of work and go for a walk. It may not be break time. That's okay. There are things that you can do. Like I said, breathing techniques, listening, with the earbud, tuning into something that helps you relax and clear that energy out, right? The next one was, this is talking about protecting your energy, personal space, carrying protective crystals. Now, so there are many crystals. Some people carry them. If you don't feel comfortable carrying them, that's okay. You can wear them. I have this ring right here is a moonstone. I bought this one a while back. So when I wear this, I charge and clear the energy of this. So I get to have my crystal with me all the time, right? But there are many little tumbled pocket stones. I probably should have had some for example. Here's a good one. I think this is also like a blue lace agate. Little tumbled stone, right? It's funny. Something like this beautiful energy of this stone. I can just take this to work with me. I can have this next to me and I can hold it in my hand. I can have it in my pocket. You don't have to do some big meditating thing. You don't have to build an altar or some big fancy thing at your desk. You could just literally have this pretty little rock, and because they're tumbled, they're very smooth. They make great, I don't know if you ever heard of whirring stones, the kind you just kind of rub into. So by doing this, I am using and connecting with the energy of that crystal, and I'm soothing my own energy. See, super easy. Okay. So next thing is using visualization techniques, like imagining a shield of light around you. I know you might have heard of that at some point, right? Well, understand you can put that little force field up and imagine that beautiful light coming in, but that is, connecting with that is what is a personal preference. Maybe you like working with your angels and guides. Maybe you're very attuned with that. Maybe you're not used to that yet. That's okay. Don't feel bad. So the best way to connect with that energy is, if you don't have a personal connection right now that you work with angels and guides, maybe you just have a loved one that is either alive or someone who has passed. Maybe you have a grandmother you connect with. With me, my grandmother passed several years ago, and there are many times I call her energy in to kind of put me in a little protective, happy bubble. If you ever seen The Wizard of Oz, where I think it's Gilda the Good Witch, she comes in this beautiful glowing bubble of positive energy. You can just put yourself in the little positive energy. Call in that beautiful energy of somebody that you love and care for, and you're connecting with that love energy, and you kind of put yourself in the bubble of that. You can do that at any time, my dear. Okay, so let's talk about emotional detoxing. Oh my gosh, right? That sounds, what? Let's talk about that. Because remember I said 99% of what you're feeling is not yours. So this is okay. Okay, so let's talk about this. So emotional detoxing, what does this mean? So it's like after a long day, clear any lingering emotional weight by, and here's some of the things you can do. So we talked about, it says a warm bath with sea salt. You can go soak in the tub, yes, but you can also do the foot soak, or if you're a shower person, that's okay. You can buy Himalayan pink salt and have it more in a fine grain and put that with a little body gel, a little shower gel, and use that to scrub in the shower. Guess what? You are emotionally and energetic detoxing when you do that. You can also do it where you put some salt and water in a little spray bottle. You can put a little essential oil in there so it's scented and pretty. And then if you're when you're coming in the house, you can, I have a bottle of this by my front door. So I just do this. I can clear this. I can do it like this. I'm like, haha, I've gotten, whew. I've just cleared and reset and took off any energy that was not mine when I walked through my front door. It's that simple. Yes, believe it or not, it is. And if you don't have Himalayan pink salt and you want to do this, get a little spray bottle. You can use regular kitchen table salt. I do admit, Himalayan pink salt, Celtic sea salt, I'm going to do a whole thing just on salts, but any of those salts will work because the energy is very conducive for clearing negative energy. Okay, so that's the first thing. Like I said, take a warm bath with sea salt or use the spray, use the salt scrub. Any of those things work well. Okay, next one is listening to calming music or meditating, but you can do both. So first off, meditating doesn't mean sitting in a quiet room and clearing every thought out of your brain. So first of all, let's go ahead and reevaluate what that really means. Meditating is just being present in this moment, not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, just here now. You are a human being in that moment. That's what meditation really is. The whole point of it is mindfulness, connecting so present in this moment now that none of those things you're attached to. In that process, it releases a lot of negativity and gets you more heart-centered. Okay, so meditating can easily be, like I said, listening to one of those beautiful pieces of music, any of those things. Put the earbuds in, set the timer on your phone for 15 minutes. Yes, 15 minutes can make all the difference. 15 minutes, earbuds in, it's somewhere where you can sit down, lie down, be comfortable, close your eyes, and just immerse yourself into the beautiful sounds and songs that you're listening to. And you can even put your hands over your heart and just be a human being. That's a meditation. That's a great way to clear off and reset, especially at the end of the day. You may even do that first thing in the morning before, if you have the time to do that, take a couple minutes to do that. Even 5 minutes will help you reset. Okay. So the next thing is engaging in creative activities like painting or writing. Hey, this is the great one. Sorry, it's upside down. Remember we talked about the sketch journaling? Get your sketchbook out. You can do more than one page a day. If you need it, do it. But if nothing else, maybe do that. Set the timer for 15 minutes. Maybe even start scheduling it. If you like to have things very organized, I know I do, because then like I said, I lose track of what's going on. Then schedule yourself 15 minutes to do that. It doesn't take much. You can take a little less if you'd like, but 15 minutes is a really good mark. Give yourself, you deserve 15 minutes with beautiful music, listening to something inspiring, the sound of the ocean, the sound of rain somewhere, whatever feels good. Get your sketch journal out and just have some fun. Get the stickers out, get all the markers, the crayons, get crayons. You're allowed to, grown-ups are allowed to have all those things. Just because you're not a kid anymore doesn't mean you don't get to have fun doing all those things, right? And you will get to get all the fun, funky colors. You won't be stuck with the Crayola 8. You can go buy yourself whatever that big pack is, the one that used to have the little sharpener. I don't know if it still does, but those were awesome. Okay, so other than that, that's a good way to help emotional detoxing, right? All of those things. So the next one is using your gifts in work and relationships. Like, okay, so we've got these gifts. How can we enhance our lives with them, right? So being an empath can enhance your relationships and career regardless of whether you pursue spiritual work, right? Your natural sensitivity makes you a great listener, leader, and caregiver. Here's how to harness your gifts in daily life. At work, use your intuition to navigate workplace dynamics and foster supportive connections. So these are the things. Remember, if you're also feeling overwhelmed in that space, there's too much going on, reset, clear out all the stuff that's not yours. Connecting, remember I said this is your inner GPS. When you take a moment to clear out everybody else's emotions and thoughts, connecting with your heart space, connecting with your inner GPS. When you do that, you get to use these gifts to be able to help guide you through situations, in your daily workday. Okay. So the next one is in relationships, communicate openly about your needs and seek friendships that uplift you. So understand, having the ability to be able to feel everybody's emotions and thoughts and things like that, it can get very confusing, especially if you are picking up information and energy from someone. Say you're having a conversation with a partner or a friend, and the energy read you're getting is one thing, but their words and their actions don't match. First of all, understand the majority of the time is the person that you're speaking to has an energetic or emotional confusion going on inside of them. So what you are picking up, if you are picking up the energy of somebody that their energy does not match their words and actions, take a moment, breath in, breath out, and remind yourself that what you are feeling is what they are feeling inside. If you are feeling this confusion and all of this, you are picking up that in them. Now, understand, this does not excuse bad behavior. That means if they are abusive or any of those things to you, this is not whitewashing it, but it gives you a better understanding of what's going on, and it takes the responsibility off of you, because it is not your responsibility to fix that for them. It's not your responsibility to take things towards you that are negative or toxic towards you. So when you feel this and sense this, remember, we have to put our healthy boundaries down, but being able to use our gifts, pulling ourselves out of the emotional turmoil of what we're picking up, gets us back to center. Remember I said, this is your inner GPS. This is your heart space. This is going to tell you if what is going on is something that you need to put the healthy boundary down for. Okay. So the next thing is in decision making, trust your gut feeling. They are often spot on. So in a way to do that, say you've got to make a decision between two things, right? And you're like, I don't know. I'm so conflicted. I feel that this, I don't know. Okay. So the best thing to do is you have these two energies, because even though there are two situations, say you got two job offers, right? And you're not sure which one to go with. Well, the best thing to do is, first of all, is pull yourself back out of the situation. And I always tell people, imagine if when you're sitting and making this decision, it's almost like you're in the ocean and the water is very choppy, right? Well, you're so busy just trying to keep your chin above what's going on, you can't make a good decision. So when you find yourself in a decision making process, the best thing to do is to take a moment, right? Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, connect with heart space. And almost imagine yourself walking backwards up on the shore, or walking forward and getting up onto the shore. When you stand up on the shore and you get out of the emotional sea of chaos, so to speak, you can now clearly look much better. Then you can look from here and you can see both of those things. And the best thing to do then, connect with your heart space and ask your heart, say, when I look at this one, how do I feel? Take note of that. Take a moment, go to the next one, look at that, ask your heart, how does this feel? And I'll tell you, more than likely, you will get your answer. So that is a way to help you with decisions. But remember, trying to make a decision when you're trying to keep your head above water is not the best thing to do. So don't feel bad if that's been very overwhelming for you. I don't know about you, but I've had many a times I feel that way, even sitting at a restaurant with a menu. I can't decide. I don't know what I want. So that's the best thing to do with that. And it only takes a moment. And a lot of the stuff you can do all up here. So people outside of you don't really know what's going on, and that's okay. So the next thing, so we talked about decision making. So here's the final thoughts, right? So turning your sensitivities into strength, right? Your empathic nature is not something to fix or suppress. It is a powerful part of who you are. By learning how to set boundaries, manage emotional overload, and nurture yourself, you can fully embrace your gifts without feeling overwhelmed. The world needs more compassionate, intuitive individuals just like you. Take your time exploring what works best for you. Remember, I said everybody's prescription is different, okay? And remember, being an empath is a strength, not a weakness. Would you, and so, and so, it's so funny. And I wanted to end this too with, it's so funny. So I would love to, I wrote the note in there so I remember to say this. I would love to hear from you, especially if you've gone through all of this. So please tell me, how do you manage yourself as an empath? Have you found other tips and tricks that I didn't talk about? Please share them with the group. Part of the reasons why I wanted to start this YouTube channel was, and this podcast was to enhance the growing community that I'm trying to put together of a way to help support other empaths that are going through the same things. Because like I said, we're incredibly important to the health and well-being of the heart of this planet, my dear. And just being us and embracing our gifts is the most loving, beautiful gift we can give to this world. Okay. So I would love for you to share. Please let me know. And let me know, was there something I talked about that really clicked? Was it an aha moment for you? Please, I love the feedback because that lets me know what I'm working with and helping, and hopefully is helping, right? So, and share your experiences down in the comments. So you can also direct message me if you'd like, but respond down in the comments, because part of the magic of the comment section, a lot of times, believe it or not, besides those trolls that like to occasionally go in there, is understand many people will start sharing experiences and things about them and what they use and what they do, and you are helping others, because then you'll start seeing others start commenting. That's how we build a community, my dear. So from my heart to yours, I'm sending you so much love. There is so many resources, and I'm building more all the time. So here on my YouTube channel, this podcast, I ask, if you enjoy the content, please go ahead and hit subscribe. That is how you're going to find out when my new episodes release. I also have workshops that are coming up. I'm going to start doing live workshops here on this YouTube channel. And if you subscribe, it will send you an alert and tell you the date of when these go. They have a new feature which is called Premiere, which means I can set a date for a premiere of when a live event will happen. And so that's how you will find out the next ones. So there's many different resources in here. Like I said, every one of these episodes is all geared to helping you be able to embrace your gifts and enjoy your life. What a beautiful thing. It's such a gift to do this, and I would rather have you be able to embrace it in your own unique way and help you thrive, not just survive, my dear. So from my heart to yours, be kind to yourself. You've got this. You've got this. I'll talk to you soon.